Hi Aka team, how are you? Here is Sacha Haim from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm a balloon pilot, but professionally I'm actually an architect and I love flying. The last flight unfortunately I did was only in January, so it has been quite a while. I was hoping to fly almost months ago, but with this COVID has been really hard. I'm home for 53 days already, so it has been quite a while with the family, working from home, only going out if necessary for food or medicine. So yeah, it has been a hard few days. In the Amazon, with a group of friends, and Angel Aguirre, a very good friend of mine from Contiki, Miguel Mesegue, and some other friends, we spent almost a month in a boat, living in a boat, flying over the Rio Negro, one of the main affluents of the Amazon River. And one of these flights, we actually took off from a tiny little beach, flew for maybe an hour and 30 minutes, about that, and that was about over 40 kilometers, if I remember right. And that was a beautiful, really amazing flight. You can see that it was all green and water. And we found a really great beach to land. It was all fantastic. We had a cell phone that could connect by satellite. So I called the boat. There was no cars. The rescue had to be done by boat. I called the boat, gave them my GPS position and relaxed. And my relaxing period was only 7 hours and 30 minutes. That was how long it took them to find us. The reason was we were flying over a region that is called Mariwá Archipelago. And that they have like over 1,000 islands in that rivers, and the boat took really a long time to get to us, to find their way around, how to get to us. And it's a small boat and goes really slow. It's a typical regional boat from the Amazon. So the maximum speed was 15 kilometers per hour. We knew they would find us, we just knew when. So yeah, took them really a long time to get where we were. And we were waiting in the forest in a hammock with some food. So it was a very interesting experience, being in the middle of nowhere, seeing no one at all, and it was fantastic. So that's one of my stories I would like to tell. The other one, also in Brazil, in a state called Piauí, and the region is called Serra da Capivara. Serra da Capivara is a national park where they have some of the rupestre drawings. So those drawings done like over 50,000 years ago. It's something that is really fantastic. And the idea was to fly over this national park with another friend that is a skydiver. He was going to skydive over the park and land somewhere next to where we took off. But what happened was that the wind was really strong. So as soon as we took off, minutes we were already over the park, and the park is pretty hard to walk around. But he took off, he jumped anyway, landed in the middle of the bushes, and then had to walk back. We kept our flight all the way to the place where we thought it was reasonable for landing, but it was really windy. So we landed at 55 kilometers per hour. That's pretty tough, mainly when it's not like an open field. You'll be able to see on the images, it was an interesting landing. Very interesting.
Se segura, Sil. Uma porrada do caralho. Abaixa. Pra dentro. Fantástico! Uhul! Belo pouso! A gente fez pouso a 55 km/h.
Once we landed, we had to hold on to the basket for over 400 meters at least. Finally, the balloon stopped thanks to a pretty strong bush where the balloon got stuck. And then we walked all the way to the road because our radio stopped working. I wonder why. Maybe it was a little bit of a hard landing. And then we walked all the way to the highway, found a truck who stopped for us, gave us a lift, and took us all the way to the little city that was reasonably close. When we finally got there, the cell phone worked, so we found our crew. Once we found our crew, they found us, and then we went back, retrieved the balloon. This probably took us about 2.5 hours. Once we did this, we understood that the skydiver was not located yet, so we had to go after the skydiver. So we called the national park. It took us about 3 hours to finally get a notice on the radio that he had been located. Well, funny enough, what happened was he landed in the middle of the park, and then he had to walk back. It was really, really warm, like probably about 40 degrees. And this region is really dry, and he thought he was going to land in where we took off, and there was a team waiting for him there. But that didn't happen, so he didn't have water. And by walking, he got really exhausted. And he finally got to a little tiny bar, let's call. It wasn't really a bar, but a place where they sold some beer and maybe something to eat. He asked for 2 beers, 1 water, drank the water, 2 beers, laid in a hammock, and just like fainted and slept for over 2 hours. He didn't wake up actually. The guy from the bar heard on the radio that people were looking for him, and then he went there, woke him up, and understood, yes, this is the skydiver that people are looking for. And finally we could relax. After maybe 6 hours from takeoff, we located everyone and then celebrated the crazy flight.
Sure. So what we did, we got a small balloon. We took off in this region that is really fantastic. I'll send you the small video. And he was with his parachute, and I actually had the bike on the outside of the basket.
Yes.
So the idea was whoever lands first will rush to the car. And I thought, okay, I have an advantage here because I have a bike.
Yeah.
But he has an advantage that he has a parachute, so he could direct going closer to the car, and he knows the place. So he jumped out.
3, 2, 1, adeu.
And then started walking to the car. I landed as quick as I could, packed the balloon, got the bike, and rushed back to the car. When I got there, the car wasn't there anymore.
Oh.
He was already going to pick me up, and then we lost contact. And I really had to go on the bike for quite a while until finally we found each other, laughed a lot, and then went to pick up the balloon and back to home.
Oh my God.
So I really learned how to improvise, and,
Yeah.
and that was something that was really great, to just fly away, enjoy the flight, and then you think about the rest.
Yes.
And I believe that once you learn that,
Yes.
you can take that everywhere.